So here we are for a ship defense chapter. It's got a 10-turn limit, but if all of the enemies are eliminated or leave the map before then, I think the map ends early, which is pretty convenient. We also have some treasure chests on board both ships, so weirdly enough, we're looting our allies as well as our enemies. And for that reason, I'm going to want to bring both Soth and Volk, because like I said in Soth's bio, having two thieves really helps sometimes. Now, the enemies here are kind of weird. Their faction is listed as, if I show conditions, they're listed as unknown. But given they're led by this guy, who we saw back at Port Toha was very obviously on the Dayan side, they're Dayan. They're really obviously Dayan. They're just pretending to be pirates, so they don't run into trouble with Benyon or, yeah, any other weird international waters issues. So yeah, the boss here is a sniper, which actually makes him kind of pathetic. You can just run up to him and just take him down in melee range and not have any threat at all. He does have Adept, but he's very unlikely to actually use that. He tends to go down pretty easily. And as for the other enemies here, yeah, most of them are pretty weak. There are a couple of halberdiers, but they're not even all that strong. Let me just quickly scan through to see if, well, yeah, this guy's a killing edge, but it's not that much of a threat. Gotta watch out for that hammer around Gatry, though. We also have some ravens here. Yeah, I know that I called them crows before, but like they call them crows in universe as well, so the name makes sense. A lot of thunder mages here. Yeah, it doesn't look like there are any other droppable weapons. Oh well, the treasure chests make up for it. So we have, well actually we have the exact same number of deployment slots as the last chapter, I think, so definitely want Oscar. Definitely want Soren, not too sure about Oscar. Let's see, I want you, because I want to get your support up with Jill. You may be useful to fly around with some chest keys, possibly, but let me just see. Okay, we are bringing Jill, which is good, and I want Soth. I think at the moment, this is pretty much fine. Yeah, this should be pretty much fine. So let's reposition. Now, here's something that I want to do. I want to make sure that I can shove Ike and then smite Ike on the first turn because of Astrid. So here's Astrid. She's level 1, and she's pretty fragile. She also has very severe NPC-itis and will almost certainly die on the first turn if you don't recruit her immediately. So in order to do that, I like to basically shove and smite Ike around until he can get to her on the first turn. Also, getting to Astrid means getting to Gatry, and Gatry also hasn't been... It's just a theme that people don't gain strength in this playthrough for some reason. But yeah, here's Gatry. What's interesting about Gatry is that if we go into the units menu... Yeah, pretty much all of the original Grail mercenaries can talk to Gatry, but only before he joins, not after. So I want to show some of those conversations maybe in a bonus video after this, or I'll tack them onto the start of the next one. Okay, Mist, obviously I do not want her to be there. And Nephany needs to be much further forward. Soth and Volk will need to go for those chests. I think for now this should be okay. Yeah, so one shove and one smite on Ike is exactly enough to get him to recruit Astrid, which is good. So I think this should be pretty much good. Also, wait a second. You are going to take some keys. How many spare chests? Got quite a few spare chest keys, actually. So I'll take 3 of them. Okay, now let's go. So the battle on the boat begins. And first things first, I'm going to shove Ike. Then I'll have to move Jill out of the way to smite him, but I have to watch out for these archers, because, yeah, Wyvern Riders are weak to bows in this game. Notice how I said, in this game. Yeah. We get to see kind of an interesting color palette on the enemies here. This sort of weird yellowy brown thing. This is the only time you ever see this unknown faction, even though they're very obviously Dayan. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so you're stuck there for now. Okay, that skill bow can reach you, but maybe... Because these NPCs like to actually block these bridges, so might actually be able to make use of that. Okay, so yeah, Mordecai needs to smite Ike. In fact, I probably should shove Nephany. I can't do that, actually, because I can't both shove Nephany and smite Ike in the same turn. So I have to get Nephany to go over here. Might as well equip that. And now Ike gets smited. It's pretty much crucial that I do this, because like I said, Astrid has very bad NPC-itis. You really want to recruit her on the first turn. And yes, Ike is the only one who can do this. It's another one of those when in doubt, talk with your main lord situations. And this song is amazing. Please don't say that word, Ike. She's not one of those nobles who are totally self-absorbed and gigantic jerks. It's kind of funny how Ike is the one who immediately assumes people of noble birth can't fight, when it's the exact opposite in most Fire Emblem games, but him being the first main character to not be any kind of nobility, that fits. So, here is Astrid. It's tempting to write off Astrid because she starts at level 1 and dies in one round to most of the enemies in this chapter. But Astrid does become very strong when trained, and training her is not as hard as you'd think, because she comes with the Paragon skill. Its effects are simple: you get double experience, and it costs half the usual bonus experience to level up. Not only does Astrid get off the ground pretty quickly, but once she does, she'll quickly surpass the rest of your army in levels thanks to her absurd experience gain. Though once she's become stronger, you might want to consider removing this skill to make room for better combat skills like Soul or Adept. I should mention that you never get a Paragon Scroll in this game. There are only 2 playable characters who get access to Paragon, and Astrid is one of them. For this reason, she's automatically useful. Astrid is a bow knight who promotes to paladin. Paladins are always amazing in this game, and in this game, mounted archers are far superior to foot archers, even though snipers get a critical bonus. In terms of actual stats, Astrid mainly specializes in skill and speed. If you keep that Night Ward that she starts with equipped to her, she'll cap speed very, very early. And seeing as speed is the most important stat in the game, that's a definite advantage. She might not be as strong or durable as most paladins by the end of the game, but Astrid makes up for this by being miles ahead of the rest of your army most of the time thanks to Paragon. So if you're able to feed Astrid a few kills to get her off the ground, expect great things. It really says something that Astrid is one of the few Est-type characters that tier list players actually like. Do you have any idea how hard it is to fall into that category? That should tell you how good Astrid is. And, if anyone here has a javelin or a bow, I can very quickly show you just why, not recruiting Astrid on the first turn's a bad idea. Yeah! That guy could potentially just straight up kill her. So I'm gonna have her talk to Gatry and then immediately run. Double recruitment theme, awesome. And with that, he's recruited immediately. But yeah, that's kind of a funny recruitment conversation. But anyway, we have Gatry back. Obviously, I'm not going to give his bio because I already did, but yeah, Gatry's back, which is pretty cool. No, he's getting doubled though. No, I do have to watch out for the mages. Yeah, he does have a completely new inventory now, so the Steel Lance and a Vulnerary, so no Javelins, and nothing that he had earlier carries over to now. And yeah, you should pretty much say goodbye to Gatry ever doubling anything past the early game. Because now enemies aren't really weighed down by their weapons all that much, and Gatry's low speed is really starting to show. He's still a pretty decent tank though. And I'm actually going to be using him in my final party because I mentioned that... that was funny, immediately enough for a rank up. I mentioned that earlier in that, well, essentially, I really, really like Gatefree and Radiant Dawn, and because of that, I want to give him transfer bonuses. Armor are still not the best in Radiant Dawn, but Gatefree's growth in that game are kind of ridiculous by Armor standards, so yeah. It's just it's pretty fun to use him there. I guess I'll send you over here. Do want to make sure that nobody can get into the C spot. It's not that hard to plug that spot, but I'm pretty sure some of these guys will just head straight down there if they get the chance. But at the beginning of this chapter, things are kind of a mess on the central ship, so you just need to be a bit careful. I wonder if I can do something interesting. Yeah, so you can't take... So, this is a case of, like, certain terrain being, like, a height difference. So, she can't actually interact with Oscar and take Soren because she's on a lower elevation than he is, technically speaking. I was kind of hoping that she had a bit more movement. If she could get onto that plank, then she actually could. That's out of enemy range. Do not want Soth getting attacked, and Miss can just spam this for, extra experience. Like I said, the free experience staff. Ward rarely ever makes an actual gameplay difference, but it's good for experience. And we're about to meet one of this game's most interesting characters. We heard about him before, but it's time we are introduced to Naesala, the Backstabber. I like to think that his surname is actually the Backstabber. The included. So that's why they're going by this unknown thing. Whoops. Yes, completely unintentional miscommunication. So, Naesala's thing is basically backstabbing everyone. And because of that, I'm going to have some fun with this. I'm going to make a Naesala backstab count, starting right now. And yes, this backstab count will be continuing into Radiant Dawn, so let's just see how high the backstabbing count gets for him. So unfortunately, yeah, the ship that just attacked them actually is the one he was looking for, so we came right into his clutches. Well, the Benyon ranks are NPCs, so you being able to break through them is pretty easy. So yeah, this guy's kind of like Volk, except a lot less morally scrupulous. Yeah, I don't think you want to be in debt to this guy. And he just sits back and enjoys things. You might notice there's another NPC just behind him, but we'll get to that later. It's kind of funny with their sort of whitish armor, they actually look almost Crimean, these soldiers. Crimean soldiers tend to wear white, yellow, and gold. Green, yeah. Like white, gold, and green is the traditional Crimean colors. See, this first turn I find most of the enemies just tend to attack the NPCs. I don't think I've seen you get double before, so that's unfortunate. Okay then. Don't know why you did that, but oh well. Yep, completely pointless. All that did was cost you one use of your javelin. Oh, I was hoping you attacked Leth. This is not the Killing Edge guy, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm going to want to break through on that side soon. So, these ravens here, they're actually interesting. The ravens can open chests. For some reason, they have lockpicking beaks. But yeah, the ravens in this chapter act like thieves. Well, typical NPC. Yeah, this guy usually likes to protect the C spot. Someone's like to put Astrid down there. Because, yeah. If I'm not using her, that is. Because Astrid does get very, very powerful if trained. Okay, so we're on turn 2 now, and there's a lot of enemies over on this side. And Gatry doesn't W. Which is a shame. Where should Gatry go? I think I may have to actually have him do this. I'll need to plug up the gap, though, with someone else. Now, normally, Neffany plugs one of these gaps and does an amazing job at it. In fact, I'm pretty sure in my previous playthrough, I had her plug one of these gaps, and everything that attacked her just died. She just completely dominated one side of the map, but that's probably not going to happen here. Well, at least someone gained strength. And Gatry gained resistance, which is kind of unexpected, but oh well. You know, that's actually not bad. I wonder if Neffany should go here, though. Where are... Because I need someone to go over there as well. And there are 2 enemies over here, so I'll need to break through them pretty quickly. And I'll also need to worry about the ravens, too. I like to have Jill fight the ravens, generally. Well, Jill's doing a pretty good job over here. Can't quite kill that guy, though. Maybe I'll have her go over here and take this guy down. Her not gaining that much defense might hurt, though. She usually has a lot more defense at this point, but at least I'm glad she's doubling things. And dodging. Wyverns look pretty awkward when they dodge. Actually, something that I will say, I'll probably talk about it more once we see Jill attack more, but I really, really don't like the Wyvern Rider animations in this game. Like, I think they look like... I've said before that I usually don't mind most of Path of Radiance's animations, and I really don't like how it gets a bad rap for its animations most of the time. I make an exception for Wyvern Riders, though. They look pretty ugly in this game. And yeah, that's annoying, because they're a pretty cool class, and they had great animations in the GBA games. Okay, I wonder if Left can actually just go here. I mean, she could, but I need to deal with this side, too. I don't think Ike alone will be enough to hold it down. Especially when he's not doubling random archers. Actually, though, 10 speed's not bad for your standards. But he is doubling Well, I mean, it's probably because of your being weight down, but it's ironic that I'm doubling Myrmidon, but not the slower enemies. Or I can fight you. I think for now I might just finish off this guy. Alright, I gotta keep an eye on Norris's range. Even though it's not really... Like I said, he's not the most threatening of bosses. There really should be, like, reverse Chuck Norris facts for this guy. The only one I could think of before doing this chapter was something like, if Sniper Norris fell off this ship, he wouldn't need to worry about drowning. The water wouldn't want him. That sounds really mean, though, but that was the best I could come up with. But yes, Sniper Norris fail facts should be a thing. They made sniper bosses, well, let's just say Fates did some things for sniper bosses that made nobody ever laugh at them ever again, but for now they're still kind of, oh right, it's the Ravens that have that massive attack range. I probably should have equipped the Lagoose Guard, actually. That was a bit of a mistake. And I do need to be careful because even though they usually don't do it, I'm pretty sure they can hit the defend point if you get very, very unlucky and or just aren't good at stopping them. I don't like having to use Titania, but I may have to. That does exactly enough damage, nice. She's starting to, I guess, drop off very slightly. She's still pretty powerful, though. Especially if you make her a forged axe or something. So let's just grab this first chest. Killer Bow. Oh yeah, I just realized, I believe this is going to be our introduction to a certain type of item that we're going to be seeing for the first time here. Yeah, I should probably just drop Soren somewhere around here. Oscar probably should go in the defense spot, though. Mordecai does not want to smite that guy at all, because that would be really, really stupid. Mordecai may want to smite Volk, though, just to get into the chest faster. Splitting up. Volk handles these chests, Soth handles these chests. Then we've got the 3 chests over there. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Night Ward. I need to give that to somebody. But that I can't do that without Astrid getting in severe danger. So for now, I'm going to hold off on giving that. But yeah, so I forgot to explain this. The Night Ward. The Night Ward is only for soldiers, knights, and paladins, and it gives +2 defense and +2 resistance. And it's a gigantic guide, dang it, because what the game doesn't tell you is that it also raises the holder's speed growth by, get this, 30. 30. That is an insane increase. So, like, if you keep it on Astrid, Astrid can become ridiculously strong in terms of speed very quickly. If you give it to Gatry, Gatry can start getting enough speed to almost double things. Note that I said almost, because he still doesn't really double things even with a Night Ward, but oh well. That's also what I was alluding to back in Gatry's bio when I said there'll be a way to fix his speed issues later. It's probably not worth it, but it can be fun sometimes. You can give it to Titania, and then her speed goes crazy. Considering speed is one of the best stats in the game, having an item that raises the speed growth by 30, which affects classes that are broken anyway, that's pretty impressive. So yeah, that Night Ward. Don't underestimate that Night Ward. I, of course, didn't know that on my first playthrough, and yeah. Because why would I? The game says absolutely nothing about it raising your speed growth. But it actually does do that. Yeah, I feel if they had more space in the description, they'd probably tell you, but yeah, because all the bands actually explain what they do, but the Night Ward has a hidden effect that the game doesn't want you to know about, apparently. Okay, now, I hope... Yeah, you've got to steal that. This could hurt Ike quite a bit, although I have a pretty bulky Ike. Not a particularly fast Ike, but a pretty bulky Ike. Oh yeah, that just reminds me of, yeah, I haven't really talked about it yet, but, hey, that new Smash that just got announced, which is basically, Super Smash Brothers Everything Ever. And it's kind of cool they brought back Ike's Path of Radiance outfit, as well as his Radiant Dawn outfit. Kind of fitting that I'm playing this game at the time. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Greg Chun Ike from, Heroes, but... I mean, let's be honest, he's probably a better actor than... I think it's Jason Adkins who voices Ike in this game in Radiant Dawn. I do think that Ike's voice in this game, and in Radiant Dawn, especially in Radiant Dawn, is one of the few voices that's not horrible. With one exception, and we'll get to that in Radiant Dawn. We'll really get to that, because it's one of the most unintentionally hilarious scenes in all of Fire Emblem. But, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll really get to that. But, other than that, I think Ike's voice is okay in these games. Greg Chun is definitely better, though. And I'm just really glad at Marth finally being voiced by Yuri Lowenthal. No, don't you dare. NPCs. Next thing we know, they're going to run up and go into that spot and attack the Halberdier, aren't they? Once again, NPCs stealing my kills. Please don't steal the kill. Well, you wouldn't have stolen the kill anyway, but still. Okay, phew, we're fine. We're safe for now. But I need to take you down. Not with Gatry, though. So like I said, somebody needs to get the Night Ward. Probably won't be Nephany, because she, doesn't really need any more speed. And here's where I like to have Jill attack some things. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. And you notice how Leth can't actually attack that crow down there, because, it's, got, there's a bit of terrain in the way. Who takes down that Raven? If you're training Astrid, you probably want her to fight the Ravens. Yeah, so either I use Nephany here and, I mean, there's plenty of uses on Kix McGee. You might as well go for this. Because I'm worried about going for the regular Iron Lance and missing, because that might end badly. Speaking of ending badly, yeah, I like to have somebody on that spot, because I'm pretty sure I have had the crows fly in and hit the defend point, and that's really embarrassing when that happens. Because they're technically only supposed to be concerned about the treasure here, because Naesala forbade them, well, not forbade them, but basically, Naesala offered to help, and this guy's like, screw you, you traitor, which is actually a pretty good decision when dealing with Naesala, but yeah, we shouldn't feel for this guy because... Jill does not want to hit crows. That is really, really annoying. I really, really don't like this. Marsha, can you do it? Like, knowing me, Marsha's gonna hit this, even though I don't need her to. Of course she did. Of course the person who I'm not training actually got the kill. Of course. This is another chapter where a trained Marsha is very, very good, though. But, I mean, that's every chapter in the game, so it's not really much of a distinction. Alright, I forgot about you. Oscar's gonna need to jump down there. Yes. I'm pretty sure Soth doesn't get doubled by the crows, which is good. That guy might be trying to swing around there, but I will not let him. I will instead... Let's see who Soren ends up fighting. Because I find even if we go all the way up here, usually the boss doesn't come and attack us. I'm going to go for this because I kind of trust in Soren's support here. Yeah, he's got a support with Ike going, that's why his evasion is so high. Of course, if he gets hit, I might need to... But he didn't get hit. Oh, hey, an Adept, that's great! This might be the first time Adept actually did something useful. I mean, it did in the previous chapter, but it did at a time where I really didn't want it to. That was pretty close. Soren actually almost suffered death by awesomeness there. And yeah, Soren is actually a lot higher level than he usually is at this point in my playthroughs. Which is mainly because, yeah. Usually Nephany is getting more kills at this point. And once again, Ike is continuing the story of him not doubling. Need to be careful of mist at this point too. Don't want to have to do this, but might as well. Because I sort of want Ike to stay near Soren for the support. Yeah, Titania's still pretty much wrecking everything. She doesn't do quite as much damage anymore, though. I mean, look at... 14 strength is okay, but yeah, Ike is better at this point. Yeah, don't want Ike to be in range of the mages. I want them to all go for Soren, and Volt can now grab this chest. That's 50 gold gone, but that's fine. Hellfire. 5 weight. Not exactly the best for Soren. And for only 1 more might than Elwind, probably not worth it for Soren, actually. You know, I think I just realized something. Oh, well, actually, well... I was about to say this is the last chapter to use this map theme, which is actually a really good map theme. It's just called Grail Mercenaries. The next chapter does use it, but for reasons, the sound is very quiet in that chapter, so you don't get to hear it very much. So this is the last chapter where you'll get to hear this song at full volume, essentially. Mordecai... I usually like to have Mordecai rush onto this side here. And I might need you to fight some crows as well. I'm pretty much positive that Soth will not die to the crows. But let's just make sure that Mist isn't in any danger. No, not Ward. It's a problem where we get my menu defaulting to the last stuff that I use, because the only reason I use Ward is for the free experience. yeah, like I said in a failed take of an earlier chapter, it was pretty good in Thracia, because there it actually raises your magic, and it meant that, because magic affected magic attack and magic defense in that game, it also affected the chances of stealing things with the Thief Staff, and that was really, really useful. There were some items that you could only steal through application of the Ward Staff combined with the Thief Staff. The gauge is going to need to be a little stronger here. Especially since I wasted well, not wasted, no, of course, bonus experience on Jill is not wasted, but I use a lot of it on Jill. Also, these mages, for some reason, they look like they have big yellow beards. It's easier to see if you get a close-up of them. Soren is almost level 20 already. I was hoping you'd do that. And yeah, Thunder, actually Wind beats Thunder, doesn't it? So I'm not sure why Soren isn't doing much of these guys, but yeah. It's always funny when mages take no damage from enemy magic. It's even funnier when a non-offensive priest takes no damage from enemy magic. Because that can very easily happen. It's even funnier when it happens from the enemy's magical weapons. I should probably put the mage band back on Soren. I mean, at this point, his speed is mostly fine. He's doubling almost everything. He doesn't really need more speed. I would like for him to get a few more points of strength, but yeah, but magic's probably his biggest deal at this point. Soren usually doesn't need much help in maxing magic. He's very likely to max it out even without the mage band, but the mage band is still pretty cool. You know, I kind of thought that would happen. I'm pretty sure Soth is not getting doubled. Does do a lot of damage, though. Soth is probably going to do nothing, isn't he? Yep, thought so. And I really desperately hope that no one else can attack Soth this turn. I'm pretty sure they can't. I also love it when Leth takes no damage from attacks. It happened a lot on my first playthrough, I think I remember, but it's just like, you don't expect, like, just a cat to get hit by a sword and to... No, don't. Please don't. You stupid NPC... And they did it again. NPCs, when they're not being reckless idiots, they're being kill-stealing jerks. Thankfully, this changed in Radiant Dawn, because in Radiant Dawn, I think it actually doesn't apply to green units, though. I think it's only yellow units. But in Radiant Dawn, if yellow units kill an enemy, that gives you bonus experience. Like, the experience they would have got becomes bonus experience. So you don't need to worry too much about yellow units fighting in that game. Don't know if it's the same for green units or not, it might be. But anyway. Right, that crow needs to die. Give you a fitness bonus, we're not doing much because that's bows in this game for you. Let's unlock that chest. I need to heal Soth too. Longsword! Get me my longsword, ho! Thou shalt not stir on foot to seek a foe. I believe that's what that is. I still just find it really hilarious how the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet film has it's like a giant assault rifle named longsword. Modern adaptations of Shakespeare are always pretty hilarious sometimes. But anyway. There's actually kind of a Shakespeare reference in this game, but I'll be talking about that later. Also, yeah, obligatory mention of the fact that Longsword was originally going to be Ike's personal weapon in this game. Ah, you do just too much damage. Everyone here either does just not enough or just too much in the way of damage. But now I can just, well, fit this chapter's name and go for a Guiding Wind. I was just thinking, like, after I recorded the last part, I was thinking, are there any airbending terms I can use for forge names for wind tomes? I don't really know of much. Like, the only thing I know, and this is, I think, kind of a spoiler for Legend of Korra. I know that someone airbends the air out of someone's lungs at one point in that show. But I don't exactly know, like, how that would work as a tome name. I I want this crow to die, and I also want, Like, as you can see, we've already got rid of most of the enemies here. 17 times 2 would be 34. Which is just not enough to kill you, so maybe, I will need to be careful of Jill, though, because she doesn't really like magic all that much. But at least Thunder Magic isn't effective against her in this game. But, I mean, even when Thunder Magic is effective against her, it still doesn't do much, because, Thunder Magic and Radiant Dawn is terrible, but we'll cover that much. Okay, there is an archer. Right. I need to watch out for that archer. So I might actually just have to do this. Please, Jill, don't miss. There we go. Maybe it's just crows, that she just always misses them. Yeah, I want Jill to get a bit more experience here. But for now, I'm going to stay back because there is an archer there, and that steel bow may hurt her quite a lot. Sort of want Nephany to get onto that ship, but... Oh, you're doubling this crow, that's fine. So yeah, I need to heal either you or Soph. We will be dealing with more crows later in this chapter, so that might be why... Actually, maybe I shouldn't heal Nephany, because that's Wrath. A K-Lite codec update just popped up. I really hope that doesn't screw up the recording at all. Okay, pretty sure that nobody can attack Mist from there, so let's just heal up you. And let's grab this chest. I don't think this is the one that contains the very important... Well, actually not that important, but interesting item. Lagoo's Axe. I guess if we give that to Titania right now, she can help deal with more of the crows, which actually might not be a bad idea. How much does Titania do over here, though? You don't even double him. That's interesting. But I don't want to aggro you before I need to, because then Soren may die. Because even though this guy is pretty pathetic if you attack him in melee range, he is still a sniper, so he still does get a 15% critical bonus, which can be pretty scary on a boss level enemy. For now, I'm going to just have Mordecai run up here and be a body shield. And everyone else, yeah, I think I'm going to stay here for the moment on everyone else. As far as ship chapters go, this one's actually, like, as far as defend chapters go as well, this chapter's actually not that bad. There are a lot of decent defend chapters in Path of Radiance, but this is kind of an interesting ship chapter. It's combining ship with defend, which I guess FE7 also did, but at least this chapter doesn't have a really, really annoying optional boss who's very likely to just randomly kill you with Luna. Yeah, that boss was irritating. The lengths you have to go through for just a simple speed wing is... Speaking of not aggroing the boss, hi there, NPC! I mean, you're admittedly one of the bravest NPCs I've ever seen, but I'm just, I don't know, I'm kind of confused, and I don't want you to get the kill on the boss. So yeah, like I said, we'll be dealing with more ravens, but these ravens mainly focus on going for the chests. In fact, once all the chests on the map are open, they'll just run away, like many thieves do in a lot of indoor Fire Emblem chapters. Do you have any okay, there's a coin I can steal from one of you. Volk will need to do that, because Soph can't. But yeah. Soren has no choice but to attack from range and risk a crit. That's really, really annoying. Didn't want that to have to happen. But now at least Titania can run in and smack him. Really? I wanted Soren to get the kill there, because then maybe you could have promoted this chapter. Yes, we know Titania is amazing, but I'm hoping to not have her destroy everything all the time. Like, it's sad that Titania now is almost as strong as she was at the very end of the game in my previous run. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Well, at least I can try and javelin the hammer guy. When an axe is this heavy, lances are pretty effective against it. That is cool looking. I don't think I've ever seen her, I see Nephene's halberdier ranged lance critical animation pretty often, but I don't see her soldier one that often. But, yeah, that's pretty cool looking, and I just realized that she is on low health. So I might have to do some work here to take out some enemies. 10 damage is kind of scary. That's not as scary, though. Then I'm going to have Jill stall the crows a little bit in the water. Someone'd like to have her fly into the water and fight the crows there. Yeah, wyverns just look pretty bad in this game. Not wanting to gain strength or defense, but I do appreciate extra speed on Jill. So that's, for the moment, fine. Okay, Soft can actually unlock that chest, which is going to make the crows go for some different things. I still can't believe that happened. I should just not have Titania fight bosses anymore. Because every single time it's just like, oh, you were hoping to have someone else get experience? Nope, Titania time! Oh, not quite a one-shot. That's unfortunate. Let's just do this. Like I said, this Killing Edge really isn't that much of a threat to you. One-shot makes me think of how I actually played in a tabletop RPG one-shot recently for the first time. It was kind of fun. But I mean, I've watched so much Critical Role that it being my first time, I really wasn't all that nervous. I like to think that I did a pretty decent job of role-playing. Yeah. It was a very simple system. It wasn't like a... It was just a simple sci-fi system that just uses, like, D6s and you only have one stat. It's kind of like Honey Heist, but not really. And, like, there's actually very, very little risk of ever dying in this game, so it's kind of a good entry-level experience, but, it was pretty fun. Unfortunately, because it was a sci-fi thing, I didn't get a chance to do what I was really wanting to do, which was, I guess I can say here. So, when I first heard that I was going to be in this one-shot, I just had this excellent idea. That's the item I was talking about, but I'll get to that later. I just had this idea, that the best thing ever would be to play Herp Derp the Villager in a D&D campaign. So... next time, like, if they ever run a fantasy campaign, I am playing Herp Derp the Villager, and it's going to be amazing. I just really want to do that. It's going to be so fun. He's probably going to die very, very early into the show, but as long as Herp Derp the Villager dies hilariously, he will have served his purpose. Alternatively, he might end up miraculously surviving for ages. That would be great too. But yeah, if I ever get around to doing it, to fulfilling my lifelong dream of playing Herp Derp the Villager in a D&D campaign, I will tell you how it goes. It's probably going to be pretty fun. But yeah, sadly, I was unable to do that because it wasn't a fantasy setting. So I had to go with a backup plan. Oh, okay, there's only one enemy other than the Ravens. So yeah, this chapter tends to end pretty quickly. And like I said, once the Ravens, once we open all the chests, the Ravens will just leave. And once they all leave, the map just ends. Yeah, I think this conversation happens when the boss dies, although I'm not entirely sure. So here's Nielucci. Considering that Lagoo's age slower than Bjork do, this guy is very, very old. Well, Naesala's getting some much-deserved humiliation here. Thing is, we've already got most of it, so no need to worry there. So a whole bunch of ravens show up now. I really hope that none of them are in range of mist. And thankfully that guy didn't get himself killed in the enemy phase, so we might be able to fight a few of the crows, because they are worth pretty good experience. But once we get all of the chests, they'll just leave. At the moment, they're only concerned about using their lockpicking beaks. Oh no, what are you doing? Well, these NPCs are being fairly brave. Yeah, you might have noticed there that that was a javelin. The only way to attack, like, it may look like they're separated by one space, but because there's a height difference, this actually counts as 2 spaces below, so you can only attack down there with a javelin. I need to heal Jill. I also need to be careful of mist. Well, the ravens aren't doubling Jill anymore. Yeah, for now, I like to have Jill fly down here and just whack a few of them, but we'll see how this goes. Because they are still aggressive. Even though their main concern is the chests. So you will need to be careful of fragile people like Mist. I think Jill will just fly down here and use a vulnerary, even though that's probably not what's the best here. Because I don't think we'll be killing many of these. Okay, good. Soft will only get attacked by one of them if he grabs this next chest. Yeah, I forgot to mention that Soft just got a pretty important item. Actually, the energy drop's probably more useful than the occult ever will be, but yeah. So, occult is a special kind of skill scroll that teaches it only works on promoted characters, and it will teach a character their ultimate skill. I say ultimate in gigantic air quotes, because the majority of these skills are absolutely terrible. Like, seriously, there are some really, 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 really bad ones. Really, really bad. In fact, the vast majority of them are just incredibly awful and not worth using at all. I wonder who I want to kill that guy. I kind of want Ike to do it, but... Well, Soren didn't get the kill on the boss, so I guess he can do this. And that completely wipes out the totally not Dayan army. But yeah, of all the occult skills in the game, there's only about 2 that are really worth it. And one of them is Ike's. So, yeah. And in fact, if you're familiar with Ike in any way, shape, or form, you probably know what his occult skill is. And it's actually a very good one. But like I said, one of the only ones that's actually good. The other one is the one for Paladins. That one's pretty good as well. But, like, some of them, like, seriously, the sniper occult skill is one of the worst things to ever exist. I don't even know who at Intelligence Systems ever thought that would be a good idea. We've got another important introduction and a very majestic theme song. So, by the way, this character is a guy. I thought he was a girl when I first played this game. And that's all we'll be seeing of them for a while, but that was a pretty interesting introduction. And yeah, the ravens are all leaving now that the chests are all gone. Actually, this is probably going to be funny, because see those reinforcements? They're both just going to run. Oh, one of them is a coin, but oh well. Yeah, I'm probably not going to get all the coins in this game. But yeah, you can steal some coins from these ravens. You'll need to drag out this chapter quite a bit if you want to get all of them. And you may want to hold off on opening the chest if you want to fight the crows, because as you can see, they're all just running. All they're concerned with is the treasure. So those two reinforcements are going to immediately leave, and in fact, the chapter will end after this turn. It's actually pretty convenient they just end the defend chapter immediately when all of the enemies are gone. I'm pretty sure there was another chapter in a Fire Emblem game where even if you do kill every single enemy on the map, you still have to wait out the full turn limit, which is very, very frustrating. But thankfully, I don't do that in this game. I think that's actually all I can do. Yeah, that's everything I can do. So yeah, goodbye, crows. Yep, see ya. They're all just bailing. And we didn't leave any enemies for you, sorry. I love that, like, well, I like that Jill's actually still there and she's actually staring right at them, but yeah, I love how that ends if you kill all the enemies. Like, the game doesn't really expect you to do that, but if you do, then the Vegas Knight's like, charge! Oh, wait, there's no one here. So they're all bailing out of this. Guess we technically don't know who those other birds were at this point, but naturally they're going to be important later. Actually, they took flight as soon as they found out that we got all the treasure. I've actually heard that those crows have a hidden steal skill, but I've never really seen them steal any items from us. Actually, wait a minute, I think I might have seen them do that at least once. Yes, it's because they were Dayan soldiers, duh, why haven't you realized yet? Yeah, they were getting rid of all of their symbols to avoid being, detected, but I think also to avoid, openly declaring Dayan attacking Bednion, because that might not end well for them. Yep, the Apostle's still gone, isn't she? Seriously, there's dedication and then there's like, no, don't do that. I'm sure Tannis should be used to this by now. Ike! Again, Ike, master of diplomacy! I mean, they couldn't have gotten very far. There's only 3 ships they could be on at this point, unless they're a really, really good swimmer. That is true. I mean, there is a line, but sometimes you do need to be pragmatic. Ike, you had a child hiding on your ship in the last chapter. You should be used to it by now. Might as well. So here comes a bit where when this game first came out, this was kind of a surprise, but now it should be pretty well spoiled. Though when I first played this game, I figured it out very quickly where this was going. Yeah, it's not too hard to figure out where this is going. Oh, Ike, if only you knew. Yeah, we just said some pretty dumb things directly to the Apostle. Don't accuse her of lying, that's going to make things even worse. Yeah, we have someone who can prove her identity right here. Seriously, where was Sigrun? She was just flying out in the middle of the ocean, not doing anything for that entire chapter. But considering that we just rescued the Apostle herself, that is going to put us in her good graces, so Soren was right. Yeah, she's the Holy Guard commander who's not as cool as Tanith. Doesn't help that she's not playable in this game. That whole exchange is very Ace Attorney-like. It's like where it just pans over to multiple characters and they just all say different parts of the same sentence. That is true. And no bonus experience from that chapter. So next time, we are actually going to be having an audience with the Apostle herself. And let's just hope that Ike and Soren aren't on the diplomacy team, because that will definitely ruin things for us. However, it's very likely that they're going to ruin things for us anyway. So we'll find out what happens next time.